Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCGplayer affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So in today's episode, I've got a brand new Break the Bank for you on a commander that likes to play with fire. Today's episode comes to you courtesy of AJ, who's been supporting this channel as a Golden Pig tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like AJ. So today we're going to be breaking the bank on AJ's Obosh deck tech. If you haven't seen that episode yet, go ahead and check that one out first. But if you've already seen it, let's jump into it. So with our budget upgraded all the way to $100, let's first talk about what's in. And first up, there's of course Wayfarer's Bauble. Wayfarer's Bauble is a fantastic ramp card that we can get down on turn 1 and pay 2 and tap and sacrifice on turn 2 to get a basic land and play tapped. And land ramp on turn 2 is incredibly effective in Commander. We're also going to be upgrading our ramp package with things like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Talisman of Indulgence. Soul Ring is an incredibly efficient mana rock, just costing 1 and tapping for 2. And then Arcane Signet and the Talisman are fantastic at ramping us on turn 2 and also helping us fix our mana. Compared to some of the other ramp spells that we're using, these are no-brainers to add in. Next up, we're going to be adding in probably the most famous burn spell with Lightning Bolt. For just a red mana at instant speed, it deals 3 damage to any target. And with Obosh in play, that's going to be 6 damage instead. So this can take out pretty much any creature or can just deal 6 damage to someone's face. And then Risk Factor is a fantastic draw spell that can also dish out damage. It's an instant that says target opponent may have Risk Factor deal 4 damage to them. If that player doesn't, draw 3 cards. And on top of that, it's got Jumpstart so we can cast it a second time. And again, with Obosh, that's going to be a lot harder for an opponent to take because that's 8 damage instead of 4. Next up though, let's upgrade with some repeating damage effects with Cataract Parasite and Rampaging Ferocidon. Cataract Parasite says whenever an opponent draws a card, if you control a red permanent, you may have Cataract Parasite deal 1 damage to that player. There are plenty of red permanents in this deck, including our commander, which is going to double up that damage. And then Rampaging Ferocidon says players can't gain life, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield, Rampaging Ferocidon deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. If we're playing against a creature-heavy deck, this can dish out a ton of damage on top of preventing players from gaining life. And next up, we've got some more heavy hitters with Stuffy Doll, Karavek the Merciless, and Neheb the Eternal. Stuffy Doll is indestructible, and when it comes into play, we choose a player, and then whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to the chosen player. On top of that, by tapping it, deals 1 damage to itself. And again, keep in mind that each of these has an odd converted mana cost. So Karavek's damage is also going to be doubled up, which says whenever an opponent plays a spell, Karavek the Merciless deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's converted mana cost. So the bigger spells that our opponents cast, the more damage we deal. And Neheb the Eternal can be an absurd card in this deck. It says at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add red to your mana pool for each 1 life your opponent's lost this turn. This deck is great at dishing out a lot of damage quickly, and this can give us even more mana to dish out even more damage. With an upgraded budget though, we're also going to upgrade some of our lands with Bojuka Bog and Castle Locked Wain. Bojuka Bog does come into play tap, but when it comes into play, we exile all cards from target player's graveyard and it can tap for a black. So this land can really hose a graveyard deck. And then Castle Locked Wain enters the battlefield tapped unless we control a swamp. It adds black, and we can pay 1 black and tap to draw a card, then we lose life equal to the number of cards in our hand. So it's just a great way to draw a card when we need to. Finally, let's add in some effective lands that can help us fix our mana with Dragonskull Summit, Smoldering Marsh, and Graven Cairns. Dragonskull Summit comes into play tapped unless we control a swamp or a mountain and taps for either our colors. Smoldering Marsh also taps for either of our colors and enters the battlefield tapped unless we control 2 or more basics. And then Graven Cairns taps for a colorless, or if we pay a Rakdos, we can tap to add black, red, or red. But if we're going to be adding cards in, we've got to take some out, so it's time to move on to what's out. So first up, we're going to be taking out Rakdos Locket, which isn't nearly as efficient as some of the other ramp sources that we're adding in. So we're also going to be taking out Prismatic Lens, Guardian Idol, and Sphere of the Suns. With the mana rocks that we're adding in, they're just more efficient at what they do. Speaking of improving efficiencies, we're also going to be taking out Ancient Craving, which is just not nearly as efficient as something like Risk Factor. Next up, we're going to be taking out Sizzle, Lightning Rig Crew, and Lobber Crew. With the upgrades, we've just been able to add in more effective burn spells and burn effects. So because of that, we're also going to be taking out Comet Storm, Giant's Immolating Inferno, and Flame Spill. Again, none of these cards are bad, it's just that we have better options with the upgrades. And finally, because we added some lands in, we're going to be taking some out too with 3 swamps and 2 mountains. Again, a huge thanks to AJ, I had a blast building this deck and upgrading it too. And if you're looking to play this deck, consider joining the fantastic Play EDH Discord. Play EDH is a fantastic way to play Commander by webcam. I'm going to be including their Discord invite link in the description below. This deck has already been certified by them for low power, which is between Battlecruiser and mid power. So if you want to pick it up and play it as is, you can. And be sure to read their welcome information for more details. And now that we've talked about the upgrades, it's time for us to move on to the price breakdown. The average EDH rec Obosh deck is going to set you back $223.65. Even with all the upgrades, this deck is going to be much more affordable, coming in at $99.58. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this Break the Bank are. What cards would you consider for this deck? So yeah, let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks again, and have a good one.